I went to Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Conference.
Okay.
I went with my wife. I think we were both like getting emotional because we're going to close the business and move here. And she's like, I'm just starting to make some friends. Like, I'm like, we're going to do this. And I just started talking to these guys and they're like, dude, what are you doing? You're in California. You already have a business. Like, what are you going to do when you move down here? And I'm like, I don't care. I'll close this business. I'll open up another one. Like, it's just a brand. It's just filing a corporation. And they're like, yeah, but like, don't you want to like grow it to something more, right? From that, I was like, I moved out of my second bedroom in my house and actually built a business.
Yeah.
And like now I'm building a business that I can sell one day. What they say though about not being afraid to show up in the room, introduce yourself to the people like these guys like that I've met, like these are mentors I've been able to get because of going into that room and meeting those people.
That's a big thing, and you got to get the rooms where they're at, and that's what you did. You put yourself in a room where there's mentors. You weren't afraid to talk to them, and now you're in that circle and you're getting advice and help. So that's great. That's how you broke through.
It's the only shortcut, right? Because there is no shortcut but hard work.
But if somebody else had done it, you can just copy it.
You can learn and copy.
All right, so let's talk about just roofing. Right. So is there something that you can ask a roofer when they come to check out your house when you have a leak so that you don't get ripped off?
That's a good question.
In life, there's a blueprint for everything. There's no need to start over. Hear from industry leaders, those at the top of their fitness journey, and real estate gurus. They tell you exactly how they did it. All you have to do is listen, learn, and execute. This is The Blueprint with Brad Rice.
All right, everybody, we're back to another edition of The Blueprint. And today I've got a young entrepreneur with us. This is a gentleman who started a business, a big roofing business, at the age of 24. So welcome to the show, Quinn. And Quinn Schilz. Right? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
He started a company called Master Roofing. And Master Roofing has grown to be one of the fastest growing roofing companies in the industry. And he's got some really great ideas that are different and unique in the roofing business that are going to be enlightening for you guys to hear. So he's very passionate about entrepreneurship and personal growth. He has used mentors to help him with his success. So we're going to get into that a little bit. And he's even working on a book. So we're going to talk a little bit about your book, too. So welcome, man. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right. So let's start with, this kind of revolutionizing of the roofing business. Roofing, obviously, for most people probably sounds pretty boring. But you've got an idea, and we were talking about it off camera here just before the show, to have a subscription model built into the roofing business, basically maintaining people's roofs before they start leaking.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about how that works.
So it's called the Master Roofing Care Club, and the idea behind it is to have preventative maintenance, because roofing can be like a really large expense, right? Like you go out and all of a sudden it's like having a flat tire, but a really expensive flat tire, right? This is our busiest time of the year, actually, when it rains between I would say December, January, right? People recovering from the holidays and stuff. And then they really start calling us like middle of January, like I'd say through like April, May right now. That's when it's really busy because it's actually coming in the house and leaking, right? So the idea behind the Care Club is to have a kind of like because when you buy a new roof, you get a warranty, right? Everyone, and they rely on the warranty. You think it's going to last you for 30 years, 50 years. But if you're not actually maintaining it and taking care of it properly, you're going to have problems where it's going to come back up.
Yeah.
And so what we're doing with the Care Club is basically we're going out twice a year. We're doing maintenance on the roof. We're sealing up all the pipes and vents, checking all the flashings, making sure the shingles or the tile or the slate or the standing seam metal is still in good shape. Everything's sealed properly. And then we also clean out their gutters. We can clean off their solar panels, things like that. So it's just kind of like a maintenance for your roof. A lot of people aren't really thinking about the roof and doing maintenance on it.
And so you include the cleaning of the solar panels with that?
So solar panels is it could be an option. It's something that they could include in there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But cleaning out the gutters, for example,
Sure.
the gutters get clogged up, then you start to have problems with those. So it's really like a solution for the customer so that they don't have to come out of pocket. An average roof is like $20,000, right? So it's not something you want to deal with. And a lot of the time you have to pay for it out of pocket. So
if you're up on the roof during one of these inspections and you find an issue, that's included in the service. You just fix it.
So the club has two different aspects. So one, it's more of like a maintenance to protect your roof, prevent it, seal pipes and vents, and then you also get discounts on services when you need them. So let's say you need to repair a section of the roof. Like, people don't realize this, but let's say like your leak is coming in on the ceiling, like right here, but the leak actually could be coming in like on a higher point, and then it runs down, and then you can't just like patch that section right above it and it's going to solve the problem. Like, you have to actually go to like the highest point of that area, the ridge, right, and fix it. With flat roofs, it's even a lot harder to find the leak.
Yeah, finding the source of it. Yeah, exactly. It travels, and then it shows up down your walls, and causes
and then you
more
have
damage.
Mold, interior damage, insulation damage. Like, you can name it. Like, it's a nightmare.
Okay. Has anybody else done this before?
I'm sure there is, but nobody's going to do it as good as us.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
What's the geographic area you cover?
So right now we're primarily in Southern California.
Okay.
So we cover pretty much all the way from Ventura County down to San Diego, down to the border. And we go inland, all the way into like, San Bernardino. So we take appointments also in Palm Springs.
So you're doing new roofs, re-roofs.
Yeah, you name it. If it's we just finished a Rite Aid recently, so we just re-roofed a Rite Aid. We're doing right now we're bidding on a warehouse space around 60,000 square feet. That one we're gonna have under contract soon. So we do some big commercial deals, and then we're also doing small repairs and tiles, shingle, slate, custom metal roofs. It's a great. I never thought I'd get into this business. It's very weird.
Yeah, I want to talk about how you wound up in the roofing business.
Yeah.
But before we get there, what about these solar tiles? What do you think about those? Like the Tesla solar tiles?
My advice for someone selling their home: number 1, do it yourself and save. Number 2, use HomePie.
HomePie makes it easy to buy or sell without an agent. I can list a home in minutes and start receiving offers right away from buyers.
When we discovered that we didn't have to lose $40,000 in agent commission just to upsize to a larger home, it was an obvious choice.
List your home for free at homepie.com. Keep your piece of the pie.
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. You don't get as many people interested in it as you'd think, but there is definitely like there's a curiosity about it in the market, I'd say. But then you have competitors. So Tesla's like only one option. Now there's GAF. So we're a certified contractor with GAF. It's like, I don't know if you've heard Owens Corning before, like that Pink Panther. GAF is another really large one. We work with like a Beacon Building Products. ABC Supply. These are like the big distributors for those brands. And so basically, your question was, what was your question?
It's so the solar
the solar, right? Yeah, the tiles.
The solar tiles. So like, Michael, bring up the Tesla ones just so we can take a look at them, because if you're gonna re-roof your property and you don't have solar, it just seems like a really good idea to me. Are they as effective as the big panels?
So yes, and I think it's a lot more aesthetic, and I think that's probably where the market's going. Like I've been saying recently, like, eventually it's going to be, you're going to go up on we're not even going to have to send project managers out there anymore. It's going to be drones going out to property to measure the project. We already get satellite measurements. We advertise on our website with Cybertrucks, so we're all about Tesla. But Tesla's only one option. It's like GAF.
All right, but are they getting vandalized today?
What? The Cybertrucks?
Your Teslas?
No.
that's going out.
What do you mean? What's going on with that?
So in the news, ever since Elon Musk has gotten involved in government and Doge and all that, there's tons of protests out there. People are saying, I'm not keeping my Tesla, I'm turning it in, I'm selling it, but they're also vandalizing Teslas everywhere.
I haven't.
You haven't had that experience yet. Good.
No. I'm all for Elon Musk though. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So these are these aesthetically they look great, right? It's
if you click on So what did you search, Micah?
Left, the one that's highlighted, Micah.
Tesla. Don't type Tesla solar panels, because Tesla actually bought out a company called Solar City or Sun City or whatever. Type in Tesla solar roof. That's what you're looking for.
Oh yeah. for sure. Yeah.
Tesla solar roof. And what it is it's basically literally looks like shingles, and it's like, or tile, and it's actually it's like, click on that first picture with the Tesla in the driveway. That's actually it looks like it's there's no solar panels on the roof.
Yeah.
But that's actually their actual solar panels.
Every tile
each
is a
tile is
panel.
its own solar panel, and then there's tiles on there that actually aren't solar panels, so they have to, like, the ones that fit on the ends and stuff, they just look like the solar panel. But
interesting.
so you have dormant ones and ones that work. But
have you installed those?
We have not, but we also installed the GAF solar roof. I think Tesla is the only one that does that. I think we're working on a certification to install that one. But the price point is just crazy with the Tesla one, and
more than just a roof and adding panels.
Yeah, so like if, for example, your roof was like I don't know, let's say we're gonna give you a brand new shingle roof that's cool roof, energy efficient, heat reflective, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that was, let's say, $30,000, right? If you want to get the Tesla tile roof on your roof, I'd say it's probably like $150,000. So it's
a lot more than even just adding the solar panels.
So if you So if you were going to add a solar panels and then have your roof, you'd be at a little bit of a higher price point, but you wouldn't be that much higher. It's
still not cost efficient yet.
No.
All right, interesting.
But there's other companies that make it. So you have solar, you have Tesla, you have GAF. I just got an email the other day of a new product. A rep wants to come out and meet with us and talk about it. That's also a solar tile. So there's a lot of interesting products always coming out.
So if somebody was shopping for a new roof, do you recommend that they look at all different types of tiles, including the solar tiles?
Good question. So solar isn't for everyone, and you're gonna get all these people that knock on your door, and I'm sure you've heard the pitch before, and they're like, hey, we can replace your energy bill with the this government program and get you the panels on the roof and all this and that, right? It's a great sales pitch, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's really a great investment for most people. You really have to have a high energy bill. And I came from solar sales. I actually opened my own solar company and closed it at one point, and I ended up going into roofing because roofing is like a different need than solar. But it depends on the customer, right? So it depends on your bill. If your bill, the way we quote you for a solar system is like, I'll ask you if you're with Edison or if you're with LADWP, I'll say, let me see your bill, and I want to look at your usage, and then based off of your usage on that bill, then I'm actually going to give you a quote for what you need. And sometimes it makes sense, right? In a payment situation, let's say your payment's $1,400 in the summer and it goes down to $600 in the winter, right? So in that case, then it's going to make sense to say, okay, we can get you a fixed payment, Brad, for what did I say?
$1,400 and $600. So
yeah, so if it's $600, $1,400, let's say I get you a fixed payment for $700 a month the whole year. It's never, you're just going to pay that, and that's going to cover your usage. That might make sense for you, right? Because then you're going to be like, okay, now I'm not going to pay as much in the long run.
Yeah. No, that is how they do it with the solar. They have to look at your usage and then see how many panels you need and then figure out the cost of that.
Yeah, and we have a sister company that installs solar, so we sell it all the time, and then we just subcontract.
You do the roof, and
we're
do
like,
the solar.
I always like to tell customers, you're going direct to the roofer with us. We're not like a general contractor. Yep. We're not going to come in and try and remodel your whole house. Like, we're here to do the roof. We're going to get it done right. We'll be in and out in 2 weeks, and I never want to hear from you again because we did our job the right way the first time.
All right, so how did you get into roofing? How did that happen?
Yeah, so during COVID, I kind of switched from doing medical device sales, and I was flying all around the country and doing things. And just with the shift in the economy, I had some friends in sales, and they were all switching into home improvement sales. Okay. And so I was like, I think my initial thought was like, I don't really want to go into someone's house and try and sell them artificial turf and try and sell them, a new bathroom and new kitchen, right? And I just decided, like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and learn this skill because I think it will be a good skill if I can walk into a stranger's house and leave with a contract. And because you're literally walking into somebody's personal space and like you have to close the deal, right? So I think I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. And during COVID, I was making some money in sales. I had some money saved, and I was like, you know what? I don't know. I was really young. I was like 22 years old, and I was like, I'm I'm just gonna chill with my friends and not do anything, right? And so this opportunity came. I ended up starting to sell. It was kind of crazy because they'd send me one day to sell somebody a new pool, and then the next day they'd send me to remodel a bathroom, and the next day somebody had a chip on their countertop, and I was supposed to sell them a new kitchen. And it was just, I was kind of like this jack of all trades but master of none. And so I was like, you know what, I need to get specialized in something. So one of my friends ended up moving over to to make it a long story short, moved over to a roofing company. I went over there. I started, seeing what they were doing. I started making some good commissions. I was like, wow, this is not bad, right? And so working for that company for a while, my friend ended up opening his own roofing company, and then I ended up opening my own solar company. I got scared because I didn't have the advice. I didn't really have the backing to know what I was doing. So the second I got the license and I filed the corporation and everything got set up, I paid for the general liability, the workers' comp. I closed it. I was like, started having these dreams like somebody's going to catch on fire on the roof. I'm doing something wrong, and panicked and closed it. And I was like, I'm going to stick with sales. Ended up working for my buddy who opened his roofing company for about a year. And I was making like 30, 40 grand a month selling roofs for him. And I was like, this is great. This is great. I'm going to stay doing this. And then the guy things didn't work out. And I was like, you know what? I can do this myself. Got the license, started to figure it out.
All right, so let's stop there for a second because I want you to walk through the exact steps it takes to open a roofing company.
Yeah.
Like, what are the 5 steps it takes to opening a roofing company?
I'd say if you're considering joining the AmeriFund team, it's a really good idea.
We as processors at AmeriFund Home Loans support the loan officers in every aspect of the loan once it comes into processing because we want them out there marketing themselves and originating more loans and supporting more borrowers.
Competitive commission plans are a given, and powerful technology is expected, but what truly sets us apart is our culture. We've built a solid support system for our loan officers. If you're interested in joining the AmeriFund team, go to amerifund.com/careers.
Yeah, it's, I think the first step really obviously is like, you just have to believe you can do it, right? Because there's probably, I don't know who is your audience, your general audience who listens to this.
I mean, there are people in real estate. A lot of them are in real estate or mortgage or real estate sales or investing or flipping, things of that nature.
Got it. So first thing is going to be like any business, right? Like you come from like this sales mindset where it's like, in sales, you kind of feel like you have your own freedom. You're usually on a commission. You're your own business within the business, right? So you have that thing. But to answer your question, to get into roofing, I really wanted to kind of like be my own business, like I was doing in sales. And so, step one was I went and sat down with a lawyer. I called a lawyer that was in construction, and I said, hey, like, what do I need to do to set up? Because I told you, I opened my solar company, and I figured out the steps, how to get the license and all that. But this time I really wanted to make sure that, like, I'm going to do it compliant, do it the right way, have the peace of mind that I did everything the right way. Yep. So number one, I called around. I went on Google, and I just searched up construction lawyers and found a few people. Hey, can I get on the phone and get a consultation? The first 3 or 4, like, $500 for a consultation. I was like, okay, thank you. This guy was like, yeah, come into my office. I'll sit with you. I give you an hour, like, of my time. Like, you don't have to pay for it. I was like, this guy's really nice. So ended up meeting this lawyer. Still helps me with a bunch of stuff today. He's like one of my general counsels. And basically he walked me through like the actual legal steps of opening the business, right? Okay. And so number one, I went to first thing you need is a license, right? So you can either go to school, be a tradesman, do all that, or you can have what's called an RMO. And what an RMO is, it's called a responsible managing officer. And basically what they do is they oversee like the construction aspect of the business. So let's say you have your roofing license, you're a C39 roofing license. You can be an RMO for, I believe, 2 or 3 other companies. Gotcha. Okay. But you're going to need to own 20% of the business, like equity in the company, or 10 or 20%, right? So you have to find somebody that's willing to be that for you. Your job is basically to oversee construction, make sure construction is compliant, whether that's reading scopes of work, whether that's actually going out to the job sites, it has to be compliant, right? And so I went ahead and found the RMO.
How did you find an RMO?
there was an agency that I knew, somebody that I got connected with that basically her whole business is connecting different license classifications and RMOs with entrepreneurs who are looking to start a business.
Okay. Specialize in that as a headhunter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she connected me with like 3 or 4 guys. Hey, talk to them, see what kind of a deal you can work out, whatever. Right. So that's what we did. Right.
So number 1 was you started by talking to an attorney about forming the corporation. Number 2 was finding an RMO
agency.
Okay.
Found the RMO. And then basically once I had that set up, this is funny to think about. So I was in my studio apartment, and this was like my first office, right? Because I had my little coffee table, and I had like all my first files like from my jobs there.
Sure.
First thing I did is I created a list of all the things I was kind of seeing like these other businesses did. I was at about 3 or 4 different companies at that point, from the first home improvement to a solar company I worked at, to my friend's business, and to the first roofing company I worked at, right? So I kind of saw a little bit about how these operations worked. And I just came to a realization in my head also of like, if they can do it, so can I. Like if there's a question that comes up that I don't know, I can call the attorney. Like I don't need to have all the answers. I just need to go. And I started to develop this like ready, fire, aim mindset, right? And so basically after I got the license, it took about like four months to process the paperwork with the California State License Board, and that's who kind of governs in California the different construction licenses. Basically, I went ahead and right when I got the license, you have to pay the workers' comp. They make you get your bond, your insurance, your GL. So the RMO connected me with the insurance agent, paid all that stuff, got all that taken care of, and then you're in business, right? So
all right. So the third step is getting the licensing and the bonding and getting all that squared away. So you get your licensing, you get your insurance and your bonding. That's your third step.
Yep.
Okay.
And so then basically I used an app. I used an app called Thumbtack.
Yep.
Have you heard of it before?
Of course.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What have you used it for?
Oh gosh, years and years ago, I think for assembling a desk.
Yep. So it's like that kind of stuff. You go on there and you can get like a handyman guy, you can get a roofer, you can get a whatever, right? So
we're talking about like you don't want to spend 6 hours putting together an IKEA desk, so you hire somebody to do it. That type of thing. Yeah.
So basically, I went ahead and I think I had about maybe not even $10,000 saved when I opened the business. And so
you were making $30,000 or $40,000 a month. What were you doing with all that money? Come on, Quinn.
I just started dating my wife at the time.
Okay. So you're buying shoes and purses or what?
Look, no, honestly, I was probably $30,000-$40,000 in the good months, and then in the bad months, not as much. So it's in the end of the year, I probably made like I exaggerated, probably like $200,000 at the end of the
exaggerated.
Yeah, no, but I remember I only had about like $200K. The guy owed me some money too, and so that I was working with before.
All right, so you spent it all to get your now wife.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So look. So I want to go.
We need to take a Dave Ramsey course
for sure. So I want to recap because I really want people to understand the blueprint to starting a business. So especially in construction,
I love
right?
It. This makes sense.
Yeah. So I really want them to understand it. So we're talking about 5 steps. I want to break it down to 5 steps.
Okay.
So number 1.
Okay, number 1, get like the right advice, find the right people. So get an attorney, get an accountant, find the right team, right?
That know the industry that you're in.
They know the industry that you're in. Go on Google, search. Like if I'm telling somebody how, like a kid how to do this, you go on Google, search up attorney, search up CPAs specialized in construction, and talk to like 5 of them, meet with them, and then see who feels right.
They'll help you form the corporation.
They'll tell you all
all
the legal stuff, all the contracts you need for your employees, your contracts you need for your customers, all that stuff, all the paperwork.
Of that. And then
make you compliant.
And then if you're in roofing, you need to get an RMO.
In California, that's only California. So if you're in California, license. I think eventually we're going to open up in other states. So that's part of my plan.
Got it.
I talked with a lawyer in Texas. You don't even need a license over there. You don't even need workers' comp.
Interesting.
So every state has different. I mean, we're in California. It's the most regulated place on planet Earth, right? Mm-hmm. Sorry. Step 2. Get
So
the license,
RMO.
right? Yep. Step 3 is going to be go ahead and get your name out there and market yourself, right? So that's what I was going to say. And then step 4 is going to be close a deal. And step 5 is going to be rinse and repeat, right? And grow. So,
Okay.
I mean, to break down marketing, I just basically went on Thumbtack to start, created a profile.
Okay.
Got some.
So was that for roofing repair? I mean, or new roofing on Thumbtack? Like
Basically, go on ChatGPT, create a bio for like a roofing company, make yourself look like a big brand. You don't have to lie. Just like, make it look like a good brand that you're going to stand behind your work, your license, your bonded company. Advertise yourself, pay for the leads. I paid for the lead. I probably paid $300 or $400 for the one lead, right? And don't be afraid to spend money because you have to spend money to make money, right? So get out there. I went to the first guy's house, and to pay for the material and everything, I took all the money I had saved, and I ended up making like a 10 grand profit on my first deal.
Okay.
Took that money, reinvested it, did it again. The first month, I probably sold like 4 or 5 roofs. Second month, I think I sold like 15, and then like it just like kept growing. And like this right now, we have probably like 30 roofs in production right now.
Wow.
And
obviously you had sold roofing for the other company.
correct.
So you knew
So I
how
knew
to
the
do that
sales
part of it.
process.
Yeah.
I knew the sales process.
Yeah, and so that's an important step. Like if you're going to get into a certain business, you really should work for another company to begin with.
But I will tell you this: the first year, I really just had a job. Maybe the first 2 years, and I came to a point where last year I was ready to close my business and just like either just close it and just be done. I didn't even think I had the mindset even to sell it. I was just like, I want to be done with this. I hate it. I hate the
stress
grind.
of it.
Yeah, that's why when people come to me and they're like, I'm just going to open my own roofing company, I'm like, good luck, I'll help you. You know what I mean? Like, because it's.
So how did you break through that then? Let's because I think a lot of people go
through
this.
This is the most important thing.
Yeah, a lot of people go through this. They're self-employed, and they, it looks great at the beginning, and you're building, but then the stress happens. So what was stressing you out?
So I think that it's just the fact that I was wearing all the hats, and it's like, that old entrepreneur, like you read any of these books, the E-Myth, Traction, any of these books, they're going to talk about that same thing. It's like you basically free yourself from being the sales rep, but now you're like, you have your own, you basically just created a job for yourself, and you're getting paid a little bit more. You know what I mean? And so what it was for me is like, I started hiring a sales team. And it was really like my best friend at the time and myself, and then 2 of my other friends that wanted to get into roofing, and they were working as salesmen for another company. And they said, we're going to work with you for a few months, but then we're going to open our own company. And I was like, you know what? Come, I'll teach you how to do it. I'll make some money in the meantime. I can teach you how to do it. I don't know why I was at the time thinking I should just train my competition, but that was the mindset. So once they left and opened their own company, and now it's just me, I'm grinding out with my friend. I'm having to go on leads. I have to answer the phone calls. I got to book the leads. I got to do A to Z. Yeah. And so it's just like once you're doing that for so long, it's just like, dude.
So how did you break through that?
It's funny. I went to Grant Cardone's 10X Growth Conference.
Okay.
And I went with my wife last year, and I was like, babe, we're coming to Miami. We're gonna go ahead and move down here. She was literally outside the growth conference with me, and I think we were both like getting emotional because we're gonna close the business and move here. And she's like, I'm just starting to make some friends. Like, I'm like, we're gonna do this. And I ended up meeting a few other guys like my age that had like a $10 million company, and another one that had like a $7 million company, and they had only been doing it for around the same time as me, one a little bit longer in Utah. Okay. And I just started talking to these guys, and they're like, dude, what are you doing? You're in California. You already have a business. Like, what are you going to do when you move down here? And I'm like, I don't care. I'll close this business. I'll open up another one. Like, it's just a brand. It's just filing a corporation. And they're like, yeah, but like, don't you want to like grow it to something more, right? And so somehow they convinced me to spend 40 grand on this course. Okay. And I'm the guy, like the salesman who's like to my wife, like, we ain't going to buy shit here. Like, we're not buying anything.
We're not going to buy this
like,
timeshare. And
no,
you wind up with 2 weeks.
Yeah. We're not buying. If they try and sell me, don't let me buy it. Like these kind of conversations. Right. And then she's hearing it, and she's like, I actually think this might be good for you. Like, you should do it. Okay. And so, and then she somehow convinced her mom to her mom has a big her mom has a business, and so she convinced her mom to like buy half the course and me to buy half the course, and we're gonna go to it as business partners.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, let's do it. Like regardless, like if I I can sell another job and pay for it.
Sure. Okay, so that helped you because that changed
So
your
that
mindset.
that taught me it was like going to that event introduced me to like some other people already doing it to show me what's possible. And then I started these courses and I'm like, I'm gonna knock them out. There was like 6 of them or whatever. You have to fly there and go to them 2 days. They try and sell you more shit, but whatever. But I went and I actually like started applying all this stuff, and I had like all these little workbooks, of like people workshop, how to hire people, the whole process, how to hire, fire, like onboard, finances, just going through each of the business principles that I never really educated myself on, and applying it. And now I have like a team of like 12 people in the office. I have like 40 guys in the field. And so this last year is when we moved to a warehouse, we moved to an office space, like our own space. And so like from that, I was like, I moved out of my second bedroom in my house and actually built a business.
Yeah.
And like now I'm building a business that I can sell one day, and that's actually will work without me. Like this week I was gone in Miami. Like I realized there's still a lot of things we got to work on, but we have systems and processes now. We have SOPs, and we have a lot of different things in place now to actually allow it to scale and grow. And I'm not afraid to invest into the business. So going to that conference
really did help you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, people need to know that, right?
You know what? I would say it did. Yeah. 100%. Okay. I think it was the courses after the conference, but going to that conference led to that.
Was the catalyst to join the courses.
Yeah. What they say though about not being afraid to show up in the room, introduce yourself to the people, like these guys, like that I've met, like, the one that was doing 10 million, now he's going to do 20 million this year. He's building he just bought another company. He just partnered with a guy who sold his company for 100 million. I met Ishmael Valdez, who owned NextGen. I'm sure you've seen NextGen Heat and Air. Through Daniel, my buddy from that place. Ishmael sold, I think, for a couple $100 million to private equity. Huh. And so I've been able to connect with Ishmael. Sat down at his office. He's given me advice. Like, these are mentors I've been able to get because of going into that room and meeting those people.
That's a big thing, and you got to get in the rooms where they're at, and that's what you did. You put yourself in a room where there's mentors. You weren't afraid to talk to them, get to know them, and now you're in that circle and you're getting advice and help. So that's great. That's how you broke through.
It's the only shortcut, right? Because there is no shortcut but hard work.
But if somebody else had done it, you can just copy it.
You can learn and copy it.
All right, so let's talk about just roofing, right? So you're a homeowner and you want to get some repair done to your roof. You had a leak, it was raining. What's the one thing that you should ask a roofer when they come to your house to look at it, to make sure you don't get ripped off?
Can you ask it a different way?
Yeah, let me ask it this way. Is there something that you can ask a roofer when they come to check out your house when you have a leak so that you don't get ripped off?
Are you a tech investor looking to shape the future of real estate? HomePie is the #1 for sale by owner marketplace, and we are revolutionizing the way homes are bought and sold. I'd love to hear from you. Just email invest@homepie.com and let's chat. Now back to the show.
That's a good question. I would say get multiple quotes. I would say, like, anyone can say anything, right? Talk is cheap, but like, see what the consensus is saying. I always tell people also, if you get 10 quotes, you're going to get 10 different answers and 10 different prices. How do you not know if you're getting ripped off? That's hard to say, right? Because what do you consider like being ripped off, right? And to kind of preface that more, like, right, you buy, like, we might not be the cheapest price. I'll say that right now. Like, if you go out and get 10 quotes, we're not going to be the cheapest price. And I tell that to all my customers. My whole sales team says that. All the project managers say that. But there's a reason behind it. We're not just a company that's going to go and install a roof and tear it off. We're going to be a company that you call back. If there's a problem, we're going to take care of it. And so you're paying for the service. You're paying for the cleanup. We do a magnetic cleanup at the end of every job. We leave everything spotless. We take care of everything. If the customer calls back because there's a nail poking through that came through, I'm going to send my guys guys back for another day and pay $350 for their labor for that day and their workers' comp to make sure you're satisfied, so we don't get a bad review and you end up with 5-star service. So, not getting ripped off. Yeah, you can end up paying $5,000. I have had customers where they lay out 3 quotes to me and say, can you match that price? I say, no, we're going to be $8,000 more, but this is why. And they give me the $8,000 more. So when you say that ripped off, it's like a common thing that a homeowner will ask. Like, I want to make sure I'm getting a fair price. So that's my response is like you can always find a cheaper price down the street, right? But are they number one? Are they licensed? Because I don't know if you're aware, but roofing a workers' comp is actually the highest workers' comp out of all the trades, because God forbid somebody falls, think what's going to happen, right? And so when we started the business, we're at 80% workers' comp. We pay a guy $100 a day. We're paying $80 to workers' comp. Do the math at $1 million. It's crazy. So I would say, make sure that it's in line to not get ripped off with all the other quotes. You're not getting something like that doesn't make sense. It is good when you're doing like a big home improvement project. It's a big investment that you do check around on those things, right? So we always recommend our customers go ahead and get other quotes. Like, no problem. We're not
but there's got to be things that are offered. For example, the warranty or the guarantee. Coming back with any issues, the cleanup. There's got to be maybe 3 things that you should be asking when you're interviewing roofers. Yeah. What should they be?
I would say like, how big is your company? Like, how big is your team? Right. Would be one thing. I would ask for references of other customers that you've worked with and see how they react to that and see how quickly they provide that. Make sure they're not giving you their buddy's number, because people are smart and they're going to do that. Yep. And so do that. And then also ask if you can drive by like other projects that they have, like to see their work. Ask if you can speak to their office staff. Like, can I speak to your director of operations? I just had a customer recently, that asked us, he's like, look, I saw these people come out to your house. I had this other, he was a smart guy, right? He had 3 properties we bid it on, right? His big house in Encino, 2 commercial properties in Van Nuys, and then 1 in Newport Beach. So we bid it all 3, came out for a small leak, and it turned into all that. He's like, I had 3 other guys come out. One of them was saying that you haven't been in business very long. So, what is the reason who's your team? Like, what's going on behind you? I said, give me a second. Let me call my director of operations. I pulled Julia up on the phone. Julia got on the phone with him. She started talking about her background in business and in trauma and all these different things, right? I brought my vice president of field operations on the phone. I had him talk to him. I sent him pictures. I sent him testimonies. I gave him phone numbers of customers. So then he felt comfortable to give us all 3 projects. Yeah. So you have to just make sure you vet these people. You can also check on the CSLB website to verify their license. You just go Google CSLB, verify their license, and you can see there.
Yeah, that's very good. That's good advice. And you should do that. You should do all of what you just described, right? And the references are important, checking their license, making sure that there's no bad marks against it. Check their licensing and their bonding. Yep. Make sure that they haven't given you false documents.
And you can see all that. It's all in line. And also, I always tell people, look at the truck they show up in. Right? Is it like matching the company? Are they wearing like a uniform for the company? Are they showing you the license? Are they showing you the insurance? We show our customers the full folder of our license, our bond, our insurance. Yeah. We leave them with that. We give them, we have great financing too. Most of our customers are able to get their roof done for like, a repair for like $50 a month, or you can do a new roof for like $500-600 a month. And then you get the problem taken care of, right? And you can always pay these things off with no prepayment penalty. Yeah. So look at the options, and you can decide, when you're talking to somebody, if it seems like, if it's, we always compare it to the chuck in the truck. We always say, like, you can find a chuck in the truck who's going to take care of this for a cheaper price, or you can work with a company that's going to stand behind their work and handle the process.
That's
so people,
good. I like that.
At the end of the day, like what I tell all my guys is, like, people are going to buy off of people they trust. Yeah. They're going to work with you if they trust you, and they're going to work with you if they have a relationship with you.
So at the end of a job, how do you get your testimonials? Do you ask for it?
So a lot of the time what we'll do is we'll go out, like if it's because I'm still involved in managing the sales team and actually doing the sales myself. And so if it's my clients, I'll just go up to them at the end of the job and I'll just say, can you just do a quick 30-second video? How was your experience? And I'll pull up my phone and I'll say, how was your experience? And they're all shocked, and I'm just like, how's your experience with Master Roofing? And then they'll explain, it was great. We had this and that. And, we are, if there's ever a problem, we'll offer them like a Starbucks gift card, we'll, send them a letter. Taking care of your customers is something that I'm learning now is very important if you actually really want to build a brand that's going to last. There's a lot of companies that are they have this mindset that they're going to go ahead and open up a new company. And I say it all the time. It's like mushrooms popping up after the rain, right? It's like they're gonna they start the they start this business, right? Might call it Master Roofing today. You know how many guys I have working for me, man, that they started at other companies where they show up in one shirt and they have to keep another shirt in the car because the same company sends them to another lead that the guy yesterday went to. Common. And then they just they show up in the other shirt and now they're trying to sell they're the manager, or they know the pricing information the last guy gave, so now they come back and manipulate. And it's we start at 50,000, now we're down to 10,000. There's not a lot of regulation. This isn't like the stock market, right? So there's a lot of freedom to do things, and so there's a lot of people that take advantage of that.
That's very interesting.
So yeah, I've had quotes where we're quoting the quote 20K, and they say we had a quote 2 days ago for 80,000. You know what I mean? And it, what's the regulation on that? If that person agrees to pay the 80,000, it's that's what they agreed to.
That you got to get at least 3 quotes.
Get a few quotes, check them out, make sure it makes sense. Try and ask your friends and family for referral.
Yeah.
Do your research.
Yeah, perfect. All right, what's next for Quinn?
What's next for Quinn?
What's next? What are your goals?
So my goal right now is to get Master Roofing to $1 billion in revenue by 2035. I think that's possible with the right team and doing national expansion. I mean, right now we're looking to hit the $10 million mark this year. So it's step by step to get there. But with the right systems in place, the right mentors, and the right leadership team, I believe anything's possible. And I hear all these great mentors say, like Ken Goodrich, who sold, Gettle, the plumbing and heating company for $500 million. He says the only thing he regrets is not setting a higher goal. Yeah. And so right now my 100% focus is on Master Roofing and taking it to that level. And once it gets to that level, I mean, I get emails all the time right now that offers to buy us out, but I'm not interested in doing that right now. I just want to be the best and see the best, become the best we can be every day. And I don't know if you're anything like me, there's like problems every day in the business, and I wish we were like 10 steps ahead of where we are now, but my team is like trying to catch up, and like they're like, we haven't even fixed this yet, you know what I mean?
Is it all your money in the company, or did you take outside investment?
I have no investors. It's all bootstrapped to this point.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I think you got big things in store for you, Quinn. I like what you're doing. I love your mindset. Just doing that and getting that process started at the age of 24 and coming this far in 3.5 years is impressive. And I think the lesson for everybody is find a mentor, find a support system where you can see that it can be done and they can share best practices with you. That's really the best way. Gives you a shortcut, right?
I agree.
Well, awesome, man. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. Yeah, very good. All right. So, hey, there was another edition of The Blueprint. If you enjoyed what you heard and you want to hear more, like, subscribe, follow, share, do all those things. They really help the channel. And we will see you next time on The Blueprint.